What if the real source of suffering isn't the world around us, but something much closer? Suffering doesn't only arrive in dramatic, life-shattering moments. It hides in the quiet anxiety before sleep, in the flash of frustration during an ordinary day, in that subtle, persistent feeling that something is missing. It's a question woven into the human experience. Why does this unease follow us, even when everything seems fine? More than 2,000 years ago, a man who would later be known as the Buddha set out to uncover the answer. What he discovered remains just as powerful today as it was then. He did not point to bad luck. He did not blame other people. He did not accuse the outside world. He pointed inward. Let's dive into this. The Buddhist perspective on suffering isn't about being pessimistic. It's actually incredibly empowering. It suggests that if the root of suffering is within our own minds, then the solution must be there too. This is the core idea of the Four Noble Truths, the very foundation of Buddhist thought. The first truth is simply acknowledging that suffering, or dukkha, exists. Dukkha is a rich word. It's not just pain. It's the subtle dissatisfaction, the stress of things constantly changing, the feeling that life is never quite perfect. It's the traffic jam when you're late, the argument with a loved one, the quiet worry that keeps you up at night. It's an inherent part of our unenlightened experience. So, what causes this dukkha? This brings us to the second noble truth, which is arguably the most important one for our topic today. The Buddha taught that the origin of suffering is craving, or tanha. This isn't just a desire for things like a new phone or a fancy car. It's a deeper, more fundamental thirst. There are three main types of this craving. First, there's the craving for sense pleasures. Think about it: the delicious taste of your favorite food, the thrill of a new movie, the comfort of a warm bed. We naturally chase these pleasant experiences. Nothing wrong with that, right? The problem arises when we cling to them. We want the pleasure to last forever, and we get frustrated and disappointed when it inevitably fades. That delicious meal ends. The movie finishes. We have to get out of bed. This constant chase for the next pleasant sensation, and the disappointment when it's gone, is a major source of our mental unease. The second type of craving is the craving for existence and becoming. This is a bit more subtle. It's the desire to be someone, to achieve a certain status, to have a specific identity. I want to be successful. I want to be seen as intelligent. I want to be loved. We build up this idea of who we should be, and we cling to it tightly. We get anxious about our future. We compare ourselves to others, and we fear failure because it threatens this constructed self. This constant striving to become something, to secure our place in the world, creates a lot of stress. It's the ego's endless project, and it's exhausting. The third type of craving is perhaps the most surprising, the craving for non-existence. This is the desire to get rid of things we don't like. It's the aversion we feel. I wish this headache would go away. I can't stand my boss. I hate this feeling of anxiety. We push away unpleasant experiences, people, and emotions. But the more we fight against them, the more power they seem to have over us. This resistance, this aversion to reality as it is a huge source of suffering. We're essentially in a constant battle with life, trying to control what is often uncontrollable. So we have craving for pleasure, craving for becoming, and craving for non-existence. But what's the engine driving all this craving? It's ignorance, or avidya. In Buddhism, ignorance doesn't mean being unintelligent. It means not seeing reality clearly. Specifically, it refers to not understanding three fundamental truths about existence, known as the three marks of existence. The first is impermanence, or anicca. Everything changes. We want good moments to last forever, and we believe bad moments will never end. We cling to our youth, our possessions, our loved ones, as if we can hold on to them permanently. This struggle against the natural flow of life, against impermanence, is a direct cause of suffering. When we truly understand and accept that everything is in flux, we can learn to appreciate moments without desperately clinging to them and endure difficult times knowing they too will pass. The second mark is suffering, or dukkha, which we've already touched upon. It arises from our resistance to impermanence. Because things change, and we cling to them as if they won't, we create dissatisfaction. The third mark of existence is non-self, or anatta. This is one of the most challenging but also most liberating concepts. It states that there is no permanent, unchanging, independent self or soul at our core. What we think of as me is actually just a temporary combination of changing physical and mental components, our body, feelings, perceptions, thoughts, and consciousness. Think of it like a car. A car is made of wheels, an engine, a chassis, and seats. You can't find the carness separate from its parts. If you take it apart, the car is gone. Similarly, our self is a process, not a thing. Why is this important for suffering? Because most of our suffering comes from protecting, defending, and gratifying this self. We take things personally. Our ego gets bruised. We worry about my reputation, my future, my possessions. When we start to see that this self is not a solid, permanent entity, the attachments and aversions that fuel our suffering begin to lose their grip. If there's no fixed self to defend, who is it that's being insulted? Who is it that's failing? It untangles the knots of ego and anxiety. So, to recap the chain of events, ignorance of the true nature of reality, impermanence and non-self, leads us to crave. We crave for things to be different than they are. We want to hold on to pleasure, become a certain ideal self, and get rid of this craving, this constant grasping and pushing away, is the direct cause of our mental suffering. It's like trying to hold water in a clenched fist. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. The beauty of this diagnosis is that it points directly to the cure. This is the third noble truth, the cessation of suffering. If craving is the cause, then the end of suffering comes from the cessation of craving. It's about letting go. It's about developing a mind that can experience life, the good, the bad, the neutral, without automatically grasping or rejecting. This state of non-attachment isn't about becoming a robot with no feelings. It's the opposite. It's about feeling everything more fully, but without the extra layer of suffering that comes from our clinging and aversion. It's a state of profound peace and freedom, known as nirvana. And how do we get there? That's the fourth noble truth. The path to the cessation of suffering, known as the Noble Eightfold Path. This is the practical step-by-step guide to transforming our minds, which is seeing things as they really are, right intention, which involves cultivating intentions of letting go, goodwill, and harmlessness, and right mindfulness, which is the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. Through practices like meditation, we can train our minds to see impermanence directly, to notice our cravings as they arise without being controlled by them, and to experience the fluid, process-like nature of our self. So, where does mental suffering originate? It originates in the mind's misunderstanding of reality. It's a case of mistaken identity, where we believe in a solid self and a permanent world, leading us to a frantic and ultimately futile cycle of craving and aversion. But the same mind that creates the suffering also holds the key to its end. By cultivating wisdom and mindfulness, we can untangle these knots, let go of the grasping, and discover a deep and lasting peace that was there all along. The journey isn't about becoming someone new. It's about waking up to who we already are, beneath all the layers of conditioning and fear. Thanks so much for watching. If this perspective resonated with you, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And for more explorations into the mind and well-being, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.